really the experience which you have shared on the how best you are using Tally technology for your professional requirement. Really, it will help to all our audience. And definitely, as you suggested, we will conduct session on the other part, which is currently not we have included in this current session. So definitely, I will take care of this, Raj Kumarji. And now I request our speaker, Mr. Deepak Gupta, to demonstrate, showcase how professional can use Tally for their professional requirement, how this audit tool will work, and how this technology will help all the attendees, all the professionals during the audit period. Over to Deepak Gupta.
Thank you, Arun. Hello, everyone. So that was such a nice, encouraging speech by both of the CAs. And now it's time about to see the hands-on with the product, which is the next part of our session. So agenda, what we are going to cover today is, Arun, if you can confirm, I'm audible, screen is visible.
Yes, you can audible. Yes, you can audible. Yeah, it's visible. Screen.
Right. So this is the agenda we are going to cover today. We are going to learn about the audit and user control, then how to analyze the chart of account and inventory. This is a part of the audit tools and techniques. Next thing is how to reconcile opening balance. This is again the part of audit techniques. Verifying pending documents, analytical procedures where you can compare group to group analysis in your Tally accounting data. Then there are a few more useful features which are very important to learn about, like credit and cash flow management, where you can learn about how to manage your fund flow and the cash flow. Analysis of stock valuation. Again, this is one of the important tool, and the benefit of Tally, more of the users are not aware of it. And the last one thing is business anytime, anywhere, which is the most demanding thing in the present situation of COVID, because we need to work on the over the internet on the remote. To start, the first topic we are going to cover is the audit and user control. So we all know that Tally is very simple, very flexible, and sometimes we mislead with this statement that it is not secure. That means anybody can edit the data, anybody can delete the transaction, and we will not be able to know who had deleted, who had created. Also, if we have multiple users and we want to analyze that how many users have done what number of transactions, or what kind of masters they have created or altered, all those analysis is required to do with an ERP application, so which is a feature of security. So we are going to learn about this feature, where we'll learn that how to define the users, then we'll give the access and rights to the users, so we can define multiple levels of rights. Then definitely we'll do the audit with the data and transactions or masters which has been captured by different users. So how to audit that, and how to analyze the user working log. So if somebody had entered the transaction and somebody had altered the transaction or deleted the transaction, so how to look at that data. So we are going to cover this particular section. So let me move over to Tally. Arun, if you can confirm, Tally is visible on my screen.
Yes, Deepak, yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me select a company where I've created some demo data, and there is an admin user where I would be logging in with the that user. So how to enable the security rights or audit feature in Tally? So for that, once you open the company, there is an option on the right hand side that is company info, which is Alt F3. You need to click that button, and you can go to the alter, where you need to modify the details of the company. And this is the section which is the security control. So under there are few questions and options which we need to configure. So first thing is use security control. We need to enable this, yes. Then we need to define the administrator username who has all rights. So he is going to be the overall owner or the custodian of the entire data, who can do each and every operation in this company. And we need to define the password. And there is one more question behind that, that is use tally audit feature. So this feature can only be enabled when you on the security control. Otherwise, this feature will not be available to you. So you need to enable this feature as well as use tally audit feature as well, right? So once you do it, you would be able to log in with your company with user and password. So such way I did in login. So I'll show you again. So once you open it, will ask for the user. So I will say admin and then the password defined for it. And I would be able to see entire list of features where masters, transactions, utilities, audit and control reports, display. So everything is available because I am logging in as an admin user to my data. Now, how to define the users as well as the user rights. So again, there is an option on the right hand side, which is the same command, Alt F3 company info. If you click on that, you will get a new menu called security control. And once you open this, there are options for users and password and define the types and security. So let's understand first what are the types and securities of or security levels available as a default in the Tally. So by default, you will get these 4 levels of security where data entry, Tellynet user, Tellynet auditor, and Tellynet owner. User has been created by me to demonstrate you. So that is user defined. Otherwise, these 4 are default level of security available in Tally. So to look at what all rights has been given and what all not given, so just to press enter. And here you need to use the basic facilities of defined levels, which could be the one of the default level given by Tally. Then after you can also define how many backdated vouchers are allowed to this particular user. So let's say if I wish to allow this particular user to 2 days, back 2 days, he can change, alter or delete anything he can do with the transaction. So I can allow him. If it is 0, then for today only he can edit or delete the transactions. If we go at the bottom side, there are 2 columns. The left one is disallow the following facilities. So here I need to select what all level. So if it gives a list of all features, if you want to see, then I'll show you that. So you can disallow either alter, create alter, display print, whatever facility you want to disallow, you need to select. So if I do not want to allow anything, I'll select full access. If I want to disallow display and print, then I can select display and print. So if I disallow accounting standard, then I'll select full access and accounting standard. So there is standard list of features which has been listed in this full access list. Which you can see. You can add more number of features here. If you want to add or remove anything, you can also remove that. And if you want to allow some feature out of the list, then you can come down to the right hand side and you can select whether if you want to you want to allow display of balance sheet. So you can select display and you can select balance sheet. So for any user who has a security rights of data entry, can see the balance sheet, right? Only display, nothing else. So he cannot drill down the balance sheet, he just view it. Even he cannot print or he will not be able to make any changes to that. So this is how the default security levels has been defined. Other than that, we have Tellynet user, Tellynet auditor. So this is basically using Tally over internet. So Tally has a capability where you can connect your Tally as a remote user and you can access your Tally data over the internet. So as a consultant, as a chartered accountant, you can have configured your email ID as a Tellynet auditor. So you can do the audit processes, which we are going to see in the coming up slides. Other than that, if you want to define multiple levels, I can create levels with new names like I have created users, and where I can select what is the basic facility I want to use. So I selected data entry. So it means that user will have all those blocks which are defined under the data entry, or what all features which are selected in the allowed are going to be allowed in the users. Over to that, if I want to restrict something, I can give here. So like that, I want that this particular type of user who is into the level of user level of security will not be allowed to alter any accounting voucher, alter any inventory voucher, alter any order voucher. So any kind of voucher, he may not be alter or delete. So that means as soon as he accept the voucher, it will be freezed. He cannot be deleted. So these are the rights, user rights we have defined, and we can make as much as possible level of users rights, and we can use it while creating users. So while creating users, Tally will ask you to select the level of the security. So what we have defined has been listed here. I need to select. So let's say I have defined one user with the name of user. So purpose of this user will be to make any data entry. Other than that, he cannot do it anything. If he make any transaction, it will be blocked immediately after saving it. Then password has been set for that. And we have created one manager also who has a data entry rights. So that means previous 2 days data of entry he can edit or modify. Prior to that, he cannot do any changes, but definitely he has more privileges against the user because he has 2 days of open window to make any changes to the data entry. So post defining the users, we would be able to log in into the company with that particular user. So we have defined two users, one with the name of user, another with the name of manager. So let's load this company with one of them. So I will type this user and log in with the company. So you can look at the difference in the gateway of Tally, where less number of features are not now visible. You can not do each and every thing. Now let's, if we make some transaction, let's say if I make some receipt, I'll select cash and I'll select one customer, pass some amount and accept it. So I'll make one receipt transaction. So if I'll go display debook and try to enter any transaction, system will tell me that you are not allowed to access that transaction. But what if I wish to see the detail, that what exactly inside the transaction? Can I see that detail? Yes. Just by pressing Alt plus Enter, you can look at the detail of the transaction. So it is into the display mode only. You cannot make any changes to it. So this is one of the example where user has given restricted rights. Let's check with one example with manager. So I'll came out with the company and again log in with the user of manager. So again, you can see the set of limitations of options available. But if you want to see the level of restriction, that means whether he can enter the transaction, yes, he can enter and edit because we have allowed him for previous 2 dates of transactions. So let's say if I change the period and try to go into backdated transaction, then again it is disallowed. So backdated transaction are not allowed for a manager rights. Now, how an admin came to know that who had entered the data, how much transaction has been done, or if anybody has done some changes to the transaction, so how it can be tracked. So there is a policy for that you need to follow. The first thing, user or manager, whichever the user, he will be making the transaction. The admin person or who has ever the rights to do the audit, he need to accept or audit those transactions on a regular basis. So let's say for today, if I punched in all the transaction, so tomorrow as an admin, I should log into the Tally and I do the audit or acceptance of entire transaction list. So let me show you as an admin login. So I will again log into the company with admin. So now I have full rights to my Tally now. So if you want to look at to the audit, display, statement of account, and there is an option called Tally Audit. So if I click on that, there are three options to look at this report. One is voucher type, other is masters only, and third is by user. So if I look to the users, I would be able to see that admin has done 2 transactions, manager has done 5 transactions, and user has done 4 transactions. So as an admin, I need to enter this. I would be able to know by the voucher type set that how many voucher he has done. So receipts, he had posted 1, sales, he had posted 3. So if I open, I would be able to see the entire transaction and with the remark that who had entered this transaction. Now I can check this transaction, and to do the audit, I need to accept this transaction. Either I can do one by one, so I can select the transaction by space and do the accept, or I can select do the accept all. So that would be audited. So all transactions are users are now audited, except receipt. So I can go and do receipt as well. So I'll do this receipt and accept one. So this is also audited. Now, if we look at to the manager, there are 5 transactions and all are for sales. So let's say these all are for 6th and 7th, and there is a transaction of 30,000 as well for Gujarat customer. So let's accept all of them at a one go. So let's consider that I have done audit today. Now manager has logged in again, and because he is allowed to change the previous 2 days transaction, user cannot do so. There is no question of alteration or deletion is there. But if as a manager, if I wish to change that, I can do that, or I can even delete that. That is possible. So what I'll do, I'll go to display debug. I will open this particular transaction, and I will do any kind of change. So let's say it is 12,999. So I'll do this 12,900. This transaction has been changed. Or if I want to delete this transaction, which is 1176 amount of transaction, I can press Alt D. So it will ask me to delete that transaction. So if I delete that transaction, Tally will show that this is deleted, but this is audited voucher. So it will keep this line intact because it has been already audited by my manager or supervisor or the admin person. So however it is deleted, but it is marked. And changes also has been done to one voucher. Now what happened if admin will log in next day and check the report? So to look at the report, display, statement of account, Tally audit, users. So you would be able to see that manager has altered 2 transactions. So I would be getting notified that there are 2 transactions which has been altered. So when altered, altered by manager on 13th August. This transaction altered by manager on 13th of August. So this has been deleted and this has been altered. So this helped me to track the entire activity of my users and also provide the policy of security to my Tally data. Hope this helps you to understand the concept of setting the users and audit rights, the audit processes of transactions, which is a user's perspective on the perspective of security of your Tally data. Now moving to the next session, definitely you must be having some questions and doubts and you want to learn more about it. We encourage you to participate in the chat box, put your questions, drop your questions and feedbacks on the chat box. We will be reading all of them one to one and definitely will come back to you on those questions. Now moving to the next section, which is again the interesting part of Tally, which is the audit tools. So we are looking to Tally as on today, like what we are looking to Tally doing accounting. So if I am doing accounting, I am looking to Tally by making vouchers, different vouchers like contra, journal, sales, purchase, receipt payments, debit note, credit note, and looking to the all general reports which are available in Tally like balance sheet, profit and loss, ledger, outstanding. So all those reports are very common, and we are very well versed and known to these reports usually. But as an audit, it is very important to look the report with the point of view or with the perspective of an auditor to analyze the data, so that that will help you to prepare your audit reports or to submit figures related to your audits. So in this section, we will be going to cover different points or different features which will help you to understand how this audit tool will helping you. So we'll be exploring that analyze chart of account, how you can analyze the chart of account. We usually look at the chart of account in trial balance only, but there are other options. We will be exploring that. Analyze the inventory. So we'll be looking inventory as a stock summary, but how an auditor should look at to the inventory analysis, we'll look that also. You need to compare the opening balances of the previous audited company and the present company. We'll be looking to that. How to verify the pending documents if there are any. Then periodic payments and receipts. How to check that report. Repeated transactions. So you also need to figure out by the value, by the date, or by the account name, how many repeated transactions are there. So we need to identify those transactions. Relative size factor. This is also an interesting report. I will show you how it will work. Transactions on holiday. So many times we make some transactions by mistake on holiday. So how to figure out that exception. Account confirmations. So we take accounts from third party and we need to make a confirmation of the balances. So that we need to understand. And finally, the account reconciliation. So we have our customers and vendor accounts, and we need to reconcile them if there are any differences. So transaction by transaction, we need to reconcile them. So can we do that, and how we can do that? We are going to look the entire thing in Tally. So just allow me to open the relevant data for you. So there is a sample company which is National Traders Private Limited for the financial year of 11-12. So let's consider that I am doing audit for 11-12, and I also do have one company which is related to already audited company. So I'll open that company which is 10 and 11. So I do have these two companies. 11-12 and 10 and 11. So we open both of the data along with Tally, and now when you enable the security option in your data, which we have seen in the previous section, so you'll be able to see this menu audit. If you have not enabled that security option, you would not be able to see this particular menu in your gateway of Tally. So to enable this feature, definitely you need to turn on the audit security feature in your company information. Now we'll be focusing on today is about the audit and analysis part under the audit and compliances, which is looking to your data and analyzing your data using the audit tool. When you open this, you will be able to see there are two parts of this audit tool, audit and analysis. First is some data analysis points, and later on the second down part is about the auditing process. So let's look at about the verification of chart of account. So what we understand that when we open any chart of account, we usually look at with the eye of an normal user, like we look to the trial balance, and we make some combinations using F12, alter F12, and we make opening balance years, closing balance years, and we try to figure out many things out of the trial balance only. So yes, there are options where you can make some adjustment or some more steps. You can apply some steps and you can work out the required data. But this particular report will help you a lot. So let's see. Before starting that, we need to add the company which we need to compare with it. So currently we are 11-12, which is the audit period, and we'll be comparing company with 10-11. So if I enter verification of chart of account, Tally will give you some category of analysis automatically on the basis of your data. So what kind of analysis? First one is accounts squared off during the year. So there are certain list of ledgers. There must be transaction between during the year, but they do not have any balances. So if you want to see the list of those transactions, Tally will show you the list that these are the transactions which have debit and credit transactions, but does not have any balances for them. So you can look at them and you can do audit as well to this list of ledger accounts. So how to audit? So for doing audit, you just need to select that account. Like Naveen Traders, you want to audit. You need to just select, and there is an option called verify, Alt F9. So you need to just click on that. Either you can put it on hold or you can say it is verified, and you can put your remarks that yes, it's verified. And if you want to add to the audit working paper, then you can put it mark it yes. So what Tally do? The entire activity while doing this verification of your masters or transactions during this audit using the audit tool, each and everything will be added to a section called audit working paper, where you can take the entire list of audit activity and you can refer and that particular list to submit along with or to report with along with your audit report. There are multiple options you can look at for like not available in current year. So there are 24 ledgers which were available in previous data, which is the audited company, but these are not available in my present year of data. So current company does not have these ledgers, not used. So these are idle ledgers. So there are 3 ledgers which are there, which has been created for some or other use, but has not been used for any transactions. So if you want, you can select these ledgers and you can delete them right outly here, right? You just need to select and Alt D. So because if these are idle, you can clear them with the data of Tally. Not used in current year. So this is again the ledgers are there in the previous year as well as the current year, but there were no transactions in current year. Only balances last year and used in current year. Only balances, no transactions. So there are 3 ledgers which has some balances, but the entire year there were no transactions. And this is again a important thing, regrouped. So many times accountant what do they copy the data from previous audit year and do the changes in the group of account while doing the accounting because of any requirement or reasons. So you can identify that as per my previous audited balance sheet, where was the actually grouped the account, and in current company where he has moved or changed the account. So you can identify that these are the 4 accounts which are primarily in bank account, but later on they have been changed. So it is currently showing the primary account, but by pressing F12, you can configure that show of the name of the group and allow. So like this, earlier it was for this year it was in scheduled bank, and earlier it was in bank account. So all these are changed. Like this is under again scheduled bank, but previous year it was in bank. This year it is under Sunday Traders overseas group, but previous year it is in South Traders. So this is how you can identify the nature of groups which has been changed by the user. The next point is the blunder mistake that can be made by anybody. It is possible. Revenue ledger having opening balances. So we all know that revenue account must not be having any opening balance. But an accountant by mistake or due to in a hurry, he may possible that he may enter opening balance. And during the audit, we just try to match the balances. If it is equal, we did not go into depth. But this will help you to identify that there are opening balances as revenue ledgers by mistake, and this need to be rectified. And similarly used only in current year. So these are the analysis which help you to look at to the accounts or the chart of master, chart of accounts through the lens of an auditor. Similarly, you can do the entire analysis with your inventory as well. So the entire inventory, difference in opening stock, negative stocks are there, not available in current year, not used at all, not used in current year, not used in only in current year. So you will have a quick analysis of your entire set of inventory with this report. So all exceptions will be highlighted here. The next option is again a very important option to save the time, because when you start the audit, it is very important to match the balances as per the audited balance sheet of previous year. Many times what user do, they will copy the data and start a new company for new financial year. If they are using the same data as carry forward and making the transaction, that it may be not a big problem. But if they have started a new company and started punching transaction in there, and while auditing, the closing balances of previous company has been updated and opening balances of the present company has not been updated, so you need to match it. And the traditional way is to take the printout of detailed trial balance or export in Excel, take out the pencil, pen, and you need to reconcile them one by one. It will take hours or days many times to match these balances. But here in Tally, it will give you quickly what all groups have differences. So you need to drill down or focus only those groups. So let's say current assets has some difference of 8,78,000 roughly amount. So if you enter that group, then you will become to know that there are again further some groups: stock in hand, sundry debtors, cash in hand, bank account. Which is the most critical is sundry debtors, because mostly it has a big list of accounts for any business. So again, you will be able to identify that it has only two groups which has differences. Again, you further drill down, you will be able to know that there are only two accounts which has differences in balances. Rest are already matched. So it will help you to consolidate the entire process in some of minutes or hours to rectify the entire opening balances or reconciliation of opening balances with your audited balance sheet of previous year. Now, similarly, some analytical procedures which you can apply with this set of groups available, with this set of ledgers, with this set of cost centers defined in your Tally data. So here, if I want to do the analysis, I can select the comparison type where I would like to compare with the group of a group, cost center to a group, cost center to a cost center, category to cost center, likewise. So there are multiple options of comparison you can select out of it. Let me show you an example where I'll select a base group as sales, and I would like to compare it with indirect expenses, and years are already specified. So this is an analysis of your entire data where you will be able to see the comparison of sales of previous year as well as the current year. So you'll be able to see that the comparison, there is an increase of your revenue sales by 16.63%. Now, against the comparison of your sales, you would be able to see the indirect expenses headwise, ledger-wise analysis. So how much percentage of expenses you have incurred against your revenue. So the total revenue of current year as well as the total revenue against the expenses of audited year, and the delta in between. That means comparison of both year. So either you have increased your expenses by certain percentage, or you have decreased the percentage, or if you have classified that expenses into number of groups, then definitely you would be analysis further that what kind of expenses has been increased or what kind of expenses has been decreased. Moreover to that, if you want to add more number of expenses to compare against the sales, then there is an option by clicking on F6 advanced compare, and you can add again a group or ledger. So likewise, if I have compared only indirect expenses and you want to compare direct expenses as well, so I can add direct expenses also. So it will show me the comparison of indirect expenses, which is 21.4% of current year and 15.50% of previous year. And if I go down, then direct expenses group has been added, and I can see the percentage again, the direct expenses against my sales. So you can use this analysis for multiple options like ledger to ledger, group to group, cost center to cost center. So depend on how you had set up your accounting books in Tally, and you can use this report effectively. Pending document. So at the end of the year, you wish to know that how many documents are open and what are the total value which are pertaining to this document. So let's say if my user or my customer has been using orders. So as on 31st March, there are 3 purchase orders which are open, value of purchase order this. There are 2 sales order which comprises of 75,000 value. This particular customer is not using delivery challans and GRNs. So that's why it is disabled. Otherwise, it will show me that particular values also. Then it will also show me the entire outstanding. So net pending receivable, which is count of invoices and the amount pertaining to that invoices, and net pending payable against the invoices and number of values. If I drill down this receivable, it will help me to identify those accounts as well in the list which are on the opposite side. So there might be cases of advances in case of creditors, or in case of debtors in payable, vice versa. So you can identify which are those accounts, and if you want total number of figures for this particular exceptions, you can click on exceptions. So Tally will show you that these are the creditors which has advances total. So 15,16,000 are into the advances against the in the head of receivables against the head of creditors, which are showing under the liability group if you look at to your balance sheet. So this helps you to identify the opposite side balances as well. Then we look about the periodic payments and receipts. So if you look at this report, you need to identify or mark the accounts which you wish to make transactions per month. That means each month have 1 transaction and 12 transactions for an year. So like electricity charges, mobile expenses, office rent. So you know that every month that has to be posted. So how to mark this ledger? There is an option on each and every report that is called master configuration, where you can select what kind of marking you want to do. So let's say if you want to mark periodic payments and receipts, I'll select that, and I can search particular account and I can mark them. So let's say assembling charges are to be monthly expenses. So I can select this and update. So it would be added to this particular report. So similarly, I can find other expenses as well, like maintenance charges need to be paid on monthly basis. I can update it. Already it is updated. So we can do this configuration. Once this is done, this report will edit all those ledger here, and it will show quick number of analysis in total number of vouchers. So there must be 12 transactions for each and every transactions, each and every periodic account. So if this assembling charges is 13 transactions, that means you need to check it. Or majoritarily accountant make a mistake, like they forget to book expenses for the month of March. So they need to make a provisional transaction in the month of March, but they forget it. So you'll be able to find there are 11 transactions and you need to pass 12th transaction as well. So this helps you to figure out that ambiguity with transactions. Repeated transaction. This is an interesting analysis where you would be able to see that a single amount, a same amount for a particular account, how many times has been repeated. And this you can look at like 18,000 go down rent, there are 12 repetitions. So it is fair enough because every month this need to be made for a monthly go down rent payment. So this can be changed with the combination by pressing F12, where we can ignore the combination by date, by party, or by value. So if I select that I want to ignore date during the consolidation of common amounts, so it will show me the same report which we are looking, and if I change that party I want to ignore, then it will again change the report type. So it will show me by date. So in each and every date, same amount has been repeated how many times. So like on 12th Jan, 5 lakh has been repeated 3 times. So I can go into that and I can look at the transactions. So this also again help you to analyze the transaction, the repeated transaction. Then relative size factor. So if you look at to the relative size factor, it helps you to identify if there is in a big gap in the amount of transaction which are routinely made into that particular ledger. So let's look at electricity charges, and RSF factor is 16.56. So how to calculate this RSF factor is the highest amount of transaction and the second highest amount of transaction, and difference in between of these would be calculated as RSF factor. So there is a jump of 16.56% into the highest amount as compared to the second highest amount in this particular ledger. Look at that. So the second highest amount in this ledger is 3019, and the next highest amount, which is the most highest amount, is 50,000. So this must draw your attention that there's something wrong with this particular transaction. Now, if you look at this transaction, you would be able to identify that what could be the issue or error. So if you look at to the narration, being the amount spent towards purchase of genset, so it should be capitalized, should not be booked as an electricity charges. So it should be posted to different account. So wrongly posted transactions, you had identified it, and you can either do correction if you are allowed, or you can select and do the audit process, where you can say audit. You can ask for external clarification or internal observation. So if it is external clarification, that means you want confirmation from your customer. So you can put your remark that this must be posted to genset account. So I'll post this, and I can also give my name as well, clarified form, with whom I want to be clarification, what should be the priority. I can also put the category to which belong to it, and then I can put it to the audit working paper. So this is how I can do the auditing during this my entire analysis process. Now look at some other analysis which are good to have analysis to look at, like transactions on holidays. So most probably sometimes user make transactions on the days of holidays which should not be. So you can, first of all, you can configure the holiday. So you can define the calendar, when is the holiday and what are the dates and what are the occasions. So you can configure your holidays, and you can identify the list as per this calendar configure. So when you look at to this particular list, you would be able to identify that there are 2 transactions on 15th of August, and one is contra, that is to be bank, which should not be there, right? So you can identify this kind of exceptions quickly, and it help you to do the audit in a right way. Then we'll move to the next option, that is external confirmation third party, where as a normal course of action, we call balances confirmation from our suppliers or customers, and we would need to we need to reconcile them, or we need to confirm that these balances are okay. So you need to select each and every account, and you can put them whether it is verified or not. So you can put select them, and you can mark them as a audited. So there is an option called account reconcile F5, where you can reconcile the ledger. Similarly, you can go specifically to the report of reconciliation, and you can do the detailed account reconciliation, which does not have matched your balances. So for an example, if you have one of your customer which also using Tally, so either you can tell them to send their in their books of account my statement into the XML format. I can import that directly into my Tally, and my Tally will reconcile transactions automatically on the basis of few combinations. As an as a professional accountant, as a chartered accountant, let's an example. If both of the parties are my customer and I do have data for both of them, then I can select both of the companies and I can do the reconciliation. So both are possible. So let's say if I want to do one reconciliation for a party horizon system. So what I can do, I can select that ledger. It will ask me either you want to load the ledger or you want to load the transactions, right? So loading transaction means I need to select the company of that particular customer. Data must be along with me, and then I can reconcile. Or if I have called through XML format, I can select the loading transactions, and I can give the path of the file name or entire path. So let's say I type the name of National Traders.xml. So I already had exported that account. So Tally will help me to reconcile the transactions automatically. So there are two areas, the above part where transactions has been already reconciled. So against the sales, purchase has been identified and reconciled. Against the receipt, payment has been already reconciled. Now there must be some transactions which have some differences or in the parts. Like for my books of records, there is a sales which amount 1,12,736. But in the books of my customer, uh, he has two different transactions. One is in journal and one is in the purchase with the amount of equal two parts, and which comprises this total sales. So what I can do, I can press reconcile button on this, which is below into the button palette, or I can press Control Enter as well. And here I can select which are transactions I want to reconcile with this particular sales. To show all the transactions, I'll just press F12 and allow it. So I know that this particular transaction and this particular transaction need to be reconciled with my particular this sales 1,12,000. So I'll press enter and do my remarks, and it will be moved from unreconciled to reconciled section. And this we can be do periodically as well. So it will keep stored this data within your Tally. So on the next point of time, you can do quarterly. On the next point of time, when you open this, you will be able to get the previous audited ledger, and you can start next forward to that. So this again saves you a lot of time to reconcile the accounts. Now let's talk about something about auditing. So to start with the auditing, that means the vouching process. Traditionally, we take out the Tally data on our screen. We'll take the vouchers in the hand or the file of the vouchers, and we do the reconciliation using the pen and paper. And we, if there are any notes and my verifications, then I need to prepare a note on that. So Tally helps to do the entire process automatically online, and this can be done basically on a remote with your client among with you. That means you will be doing audit, accessing your client data on the remote access. That means on Telenet, using Telenet ID. And client would be able to see how much audit has been done. If you need any clarification, just like this, if you have posted some transaction like external clarification is required. So client can look this and he can reply to this. However, he would not be able to see the entire this audit report. There is a altogether a separate report. I will show you that where you can see, and he would be able to clarify you there. So whenever he clarified, that would be moved to this clarified section or this clarified section, and again you can do the remaining audit vouchers. So to do the audit, you need to enter the vouchers. So total number of vouchers is 1105, and this is the detailed list by the voucher type. Now you can select the sampling method for each and every transaction. So let's say for receipts, if you want to adopt any sampling method, you can select that type and click on sampling configuration, where you can select you want to audit all vouchers, you want to select some vouchers with the amount range, or you want to apply Beneford analysis, or you want to select even number of vouchers, or you want to select odd for a specific period, or some specific vouchers manually you want to select. So you can adopt any of the method, and Tally will automatically select on the basis of that sampling method. So let's say if I select even number vouchers, starting voucher number should be 1 and enter. So total number of vouchers are 131 and sampling selected for 65. So what are the 65 transactions? You can look at this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So all even number of transactions has been sampled by Tally automatically. Now what you need to do, you need to see them one by one, and by selecting this transaction, pressing F9 audit, you can do the entire audit process. So this is how the sampling and auditing process of your entire transactions for all data can be done. Other than that, if you have Forex transactions, it would be categorized here. If you have MSME transactions, you can also classify these transactions here. So how to classify which ledgers are belongs to MSME transaction? You can configure this in the master configuration button on your right hand side, pressing by Control F9. So here you can select micro, small, medium enterprises, and you can select the party and you can mark them. You can update them whether it belongs to MSME. And if you look at to this report, Tally will show you all these accounts. And now if you want to analyze like age-wise report you wish to see, that how many outstanding it would be having for MSMEs, which is less than 45 and greater than 45. So you would be able to figure out this figure, and this information will help you quickly. Also, if you have enabled payroll module in Tally, then entire payroll related information can also be audited here. So how many head count are there into the entire year? What are the earning and deductions in net salary? So the entire summary would be there. Again, if you make enter, you would be able to see employee wise detail. Again, you make enter, you would be able to see the transaction, and you can do audit again for this accounts or number of transactions. Now, once you're done with this audit, what you can do, you can select this particular heads, and you need to select the verify. That means you have completed the audit for this. Similarly, if this entire section has also be audited, you need to select this and you can mark this as verified. That means you have audited the data. So on a frequency of half yearly or quarterly, you are doing audit and you have in fear that I have did the audit and later on client has done some changes to my audited transactions, that will also be identified by Tally. So let's say if you have done the audit and you press the verified to that particular account, later on out of this transaction, user had made some changes, it will be highlighted here, altered and to be re-audited. So you need to check them again and you need to audit them again. If you need some clarification, you can ask with the client. Now from where client would be able to see this audit data as a normal user. So he can go to display statement of account, and there is a report called audit and compliance information. So if you press enter, statutory audit info, and here he would be able to see the internal or external clarification. So if I press enter, I would be able to see the remarks and whatever transaction has been given me for the clarification. I can select this transaction and I can press clarify, and I can put my remarks, whatever the reason, and submit this. So this has been clarified. So once client did this clarification, and as an auditor, if I go to audit and compliance, audit analysis, so I'll be finding that out of 2, now 1 in the clarified section. So if I click on that, I would be able to see the client remarks, whatever he had replied. Now again, if I want to do the audit, I can select and do the process, like either it is on hold, audited, okay, or again I need more clarification, I can put it against the clarification. So this is how transaction by transaction you can do the communication and entire audit process online using Trelli. How to do the remote access in the coming section, my team member, my colleague Deepak Tiwari will be going to help to understand that how to do the remote connection and how to connect the data on the remote so that you can do the entire this audit facility using remote audit. So this is all from my point. This is my section. I hope you have understood and this is insightful for you, the entire thing. Definitely, there are many things related to this audit tool. Due to time constraint, we cannot cover in depth or entire process. If you can put your comments, your suggestions into the chat, you definitely, and we will be helping you on this particular topic also. So I would like to hand over it to my colleague Deepak Tiwari. He would be taking care for the rest of the session.
Thank you, Deepak. I'm audible?
Yes, you are clear and audible. Yes.
Okay. 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it's visible.
So the section which I have to cover is about the credit and cash flow management. After that, I'll cover the inventory valuation part, and after that, as my teammate said, that the remote access, how to access the how to access the Tally data remotely, and how we can see the Tally reports on browser. So these 3 major topics I'm going to cover. I would like to, I would try to cover up, complete my topics within the time frame. Okay, so first I would like to tell you that cash flow is the very important factor. It is one of the factor which can impact the companies very badly. In other sense, we can say it is like the oxygen of business. So in Tally, there is a report called cash flow projection. What is the importance of that? The cash flow projection help you in preempting any kind of cash crunch which is coming in the future. Right now, being a businessman, I can only see my bank account, and I can only see the outstanding, and I can compare whether the cash which I am having right now, is it sufficient? Is it sufficient to match out my outstandings or not, all my receivables or payables or not. But the cash flow is not just about the matter of today's and tomorrow. In long run, we have to judge, or being a wise businessman, I need to have the clarity in next 2-3 months what is going to happen with my business. Is there any point in future? Is there any point where where a business will be in a situation where I will have lesser cash flow, and due to that, I may not be in a position to pay out my receivables. To avoid such situations, I can use Tally's cash flow projection report. So let me go to the report. Under the display and cash and fund flow, here is a report called cash flow projection. First of all, this report is made on not on the basis of voucher date. It is made on the basis of due date. So let's say if I have posted a voucher in April month, but its due date is after 45 days. So definitely it will, the invoice will be due around in May or June, depending upon the vouchers posted in April month. So the first beauty of this report is that report is not made on the voucher date. It is made on the basis of the due date of invoice. Now this report shows me that in the month of April, my receivables are 10,40,200 and my payables are 9,31,000. A business it is generally said that business is done on others' money. You know, we don't like to spend our money. You know? So in that case, we can clearly see my receivables are enough to pay my payables in the month of April. 10,40,200 is my receivables and 9,31,000 is my payable. But if I see in the month of May, my receivables are only 13,84,900 and my payables are 28,21,500. Now I can clearly see there is a shortfall of 4 lakhs. So by sitting in April month, I can clearly see and preempt the situation that in the month of May, I am going to have a cash flow crunch in my business. So being a businessman, I can make a plan for it. Let's assume I am a supplier and I have sold something to my customer, and whenever I am calling him for the outstanding follow-up, he is just making the simple excuse, sorry boss, I don't have the money, give me some extra time. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but after that you will feel irritating. The only decision you can make, you can stop doing the businesses with that customer. So being us, and it can happen vice versa also. I can put myself on customer side and someone can be on the supplier side. Definitely it will irritate the supplier. And being a customer and being a businessman, it is not good for my business also. So what can I do in this situation, or by seeing this report, what decision I can make from to cope up with the situation which is clearly being shown on this screen, where I am having 4,900,000 rupees shortfall in my cash flow in the month of May. So what I can do, I can go in June month's outstanding. I can go and check the June month's receivables, and I can see if there any pendency which is going to be due in first month of the June. So what I can do, I can go and talk with that particular customer and I can ask him to prepay the amount. And in lieu of that, I can give him some discount so that he can prepay the invoice. So let's check. Here is an invoice which is going to be due on 4th of June. And the amount is 4,57,800. So in this situation, I can talk to Kids Bike and I can inform him that boss, your one invoice amounting rupees 4,57,800 is going to be due on 4th of June. And I have urgent need in the May month. Will you be able to prepay the invoice? In lieu of that, I can offer you some discounts. So that is something called a strategy. I can make this strategy for the situation which is going to come, and which is not only going to come, it's going to hit my business very badly. Because it is just about the receivables and payables. But apart from that, I have some other liabilities also in terms of short-term liabilities and long-term liabilities. So I have to make my cash flow as per that. Now, whatever situations we are creating here, in that it is possible only if my my customer is going to pay on time, because it is just a projection, and it is a projection made based upon the due date of invoice. But along with that, we have to see one more factor, which is the payment performance of my debtors, because it is only possible this 10,40,200 we are seeing here, because we are seeing here that 9,31,000 is my payables and 10,40,000 I'm going to get from my customer. So it is very easy. I'm in a happy situation, but no, it is not the complete truth. The complete truth is it is going to happen only when you have a debtors who are paying you on the right time. If the debtors are not paying you on the right time, this report doesn't mean to you. Have nothing, is no meaning to you, because when your customers are not paying you on right time, then this report is only showing the information based upon the due date. But your debtors are not paying you on the due date of invoices. They are taking much more time. So how to get the information about the payment performance of my debtor, and why it is important to know the payment performance of debtor? Because you are providing them the credit period. Whether they are worth of it or not, you have to check it, because let's say you are providing a customer 30 days credit, but by checking the payment performance, you get to know because that customer is still taking 15 more days to pay the invoice, even after providing the 45 days or 30 days credit. Then definitely I should not give him the credit, or I can give him the credit, a shorter credit period, like 10 days, 15 days. Okay. So after seeing this report, you can check the payment performance of your debtors from the ratio analysis. From the ratio analysis, you can see receivable turnover in days, payment performance of debtors. So my average receivable turnover in days is, my company's receivable turnover days is 25.36 days. यानी कि इसका मतलब ये है, this means that my company is able to recover the amount from my debtors on an average on 25 and 36 days. But it is an average of all debtors. The individual performance can be different. So now just press enter. Now you can see the party-wise payment performance. Like you can see 2 columns. One is using receivable formulas, which is called DSO, daily sales outstanding. Days sales outstanding भी इसको बोलते हैं. It is also called as days sales outstanding. And the second column is using actual bill clearance dates. So let's check that. So now here the information is that the party has the 15 days actual bill clearance date. Now what is the definition of this? The definition of this is we have a we had an outstanding bill. The bill number was 1. Its date was 5th April 2020, and it was cleared on 20th April 2020. So the total number of days that party took to clear the bill was 15 days. So like this, we can have multiple bills and multiple number of days. So what Tally does, Tally give you the average of the all number of days. Okay. So this 15 days is coming on the actual clearance date, but this is derived by the formula of what? Days sales outstanding, DSO. So what is the DSO formula? DSO formula means, why we are using DSO formula? DSO formula is using, we are using here to know that the future performance or the current DSO of the company. What is the current DSO with that particular party? Okay. Or how much days this party can take to pay 7,03,600 rupees outstanding. So its total turnover with this party was 7,97,600 rupees, out of which he has paid how much? 94,000 he has paid. But still we have on the 29th April 2020, we started business on 1st April 2020 with this party. In 29 days, we had the turnover of 7,97,600 in 29 days. In 29 days, he cleared 94,000 rupees outstanding. So now what is the DSO days sales outstanding, or how much days that party will take to clear his outstanding, or on an average, what are the days on which he can keep paying his outstanding. So the DSO comes to the 25.58. How does it how this come? 7,97,600 is divided by the number of days, the days for which we are calculating the DSO. So here we are calculating the DSO for 29 days. So 7,97,600 is divided by 29. So it gives you the average sales turnover. What sales turnover we are having with this with party on per day basis. Now this value again, 7,03,600, his current closing balance is divided by that particular average per day sales. So this gives us the DSO, daily day sales outstanding. So this column is showing you the values which is derived by the formula, and this is on the basis of actual clearance of bills. So here we can see that this party is paying his outstanding on 23 days. So definitely he's and because here we have only one invoice. So when you have the large number of invoices, you will get to know whether it is the behavior of that customer, or it is only about the one invoice which he had paid in 23 days and rest invoices was paid on time. So basis on the data, we can get this information. So the cash flow projection which we had seen, it is linked with the payment performance. If your payment performance of the debtor is good, then definitely that cash flow projection, whatever report we have seen there, is going to be true for you. If it is not, then definitely you have to see something else. Now, what is something else? What about those parties who are not having the good payment performance? For them, we can have some different remedies, like we can apply credit limit on those parties. We can apply interest on them. So how to do that? To apply the credit limit to a party, first we can enable the option from F11 F1, and we can enable this feature, maintain budget and controls. And now from accounts info ledger, we will get an option called credit limits. We'll select the debtors, and under debtor, we will get a column called credit limit, where we can define the credit limit for each and every company. Now, how this credit limit helps in how this credit limit helps? It helps you in the manner that if the credit sales exceeding that particular amount, let's say DM Bharat Cycle Store is having the credit limit of 8 lakhs rupees, but at some point of time you are making an invoice, and now the total credit amount is going beyond that. So let's say it goes to 8,01,000. Then at the time of accepting the invoice, Tally will stop you. It will not allow you to accept that particular invoice. The only thing you can do to restore the business or restore the invoicing is by informing the party, so that he can pay some amount and he can have the good credit limit in his account, or you cannot sell him for the time being, and once he would be making the payment in the future, you can again restore the business with that particular party. So by applying the credit limit, you can at least ensure that the bills are not being made for the parties who are not having the good payment performance. Second remedy which we can have for the parties who are not having the good payment performance is we can apply the interest calculation on them. So how to apply the interest calculation, and how to see that what are the interest amount, and if I am not collecting the interest, then what are the loss I am having in my business. So we can enable the interest calculation from F11 F1 accounting feature. Under this, we will have the option called activate interest calculation, use advanced parameter. We will enable these two options. And after that, under the customer ledger, we can go and enable this feature, because we may have some parties to whom we don't want to apply the interest calculation. So there is another option in the ledger, inside the ledger, where you can activate it for the specific party. So activate interest calculation, we'll put it yes. And here we can mention the parameters for the interest calculation. Now, just to see the interest, you can go display, statements of account, interest calculation, and interest receivables. So this report is still 29th April. So let's say if I want to see the report till May. So now I can see from 1st of April till 31st of May. Let's say today is 31st of May and I want to see that what is the interest amount for all my parties. So it is just create any impact on your P&L. Okay, so if I go and check the P&L for the 31st of May, it will not show you the 23,220 rupees 78 in the income side. It will not show you. Okay, because it is just the calculation to help you that if you are not charging the interest, if you are not taking the interest amount from your customer and you are allowing them enjoy the credit period, and even after providing the longer or the large credit period, they are not paying on time, then what loss you are having? So in other sense, if I say till 31st of May, I would be having a loss of 23,220 rupees and 78 paisa. So this is the exact loss which I'll have from the debtors who are not paying on time. Okay, so this was all about the cash flow maintenance, how we can have the better cash flow and how a product can help you in maintaining that. Second one is the inventory valuation. So under the inventory valuation part, I can show you that how we can have the different valuation method for a particular stock item. So I've already created, so I'll access the stock item from alter screen. So under the stock creation, we have an option which we can activate by pressing the F12 from this screen. I press the F12 and we will allow advanced entries in master. Once I enable this, I'll get the screen of behavior section. Okay, so let me show you this. If I put no, then this behavior section will not come. I'll press F12 and I enable this option. Now you can see the behavior section is coming. Here we can set the valuation method for my stock item. So if I have very diverse stock item in a single company, then definitely the different stock item may have different properties. Okay, so I may choose the appropriate inventory valuation method for that particular stock item. So let's say I have set, by default it is average method. Okay, so we all know what is the average method, so I'm not going to explain it. The impact of this valuation method, the impact we can see in reports also. So let's say if I'm accessing the stock summary, and here it is coming on the average basis. Now I want to see the report in all possible valuation methods. So what I'll do, I'll just click on auto column, and here I'll select stock valuation methods. So what happened? Now you can see there are multiple columns, and in multiple columns we can see at the upper side it is showing you the different stock valuation methods. Like it is the default, which is the average one. So by applying this, the total closing stock is coming 4,75,000. On the FIFO basis, we have 4,69,000. Accordingly, it will change. So by putting no effort, just by pressing one key, Alt N, we can have all possible calculation on the basis of different valuation methods. And on the basis, in the same note, we can access the balance sheet also. Under balance sheet, we can see, or under the P&L, we can see just by pressing Alt N. we can have all possible valuation methods, and according to that, what would be the financial statement and what would be the impact of particular valuation method, that we can see just by pressing a single click. Now I come to my final part. That first one is the remote access. So in Tally, we have an option to access the Tally data remotely on a Tally application. Okay, so there are two methods to access the Tally information. First one, by using the remote access, and second feature, which is newly introduced by the Tally company, it is accessing the Tally report in browser. In short, we say this TRIB, TRIB, Tally reports in browser. So first, I'll demonstrate that how to access the Tally information on remote access. So to access the data remotely, you need a laptop, definitely laptop or desktop. On that, you will install a Tally application, okay, in educational version. It does not need the license. First of all, the good part of accessing the Tally remotely is that you need not any license for it. You will just simply download the application from internet, install it. It will run on the educational mode. From that educational mode, you will click on login as remote user. And after this, you will write your user ID and password. So now I'm going to tell you how to create this user ID password, how you will get, this ID and password. Okay. So let me open the company. Under this, I will enable the security feature. So let's say I'm putting A as a password. Okay. After that, I'll go in security control and users and password. Under the security level, I'll select any .NET account depending upon the responsibility of the user. So let's say if the person who are accessing the Tally data remotely is only data entry operator, so I'll select Tally.NET user. If it is an auditor, then definitely Tally.NET auditor, and so on. So let's say I selected Tally.NET user. After that, I'll put the Tally.NET ID. So I had a license on this account ID. So I'm just simply typing this email ID here. Now it will ask you two options. Do you want to give the browser access, or you want to, along with that, do you want to give the remote access? So depending upon the need and the situation, you can put the options yes. So let's say I want to give it this user, I want to give it only the remote access. So I'll put it yes, and I'll keep this allow browser access option no. Okay, so now I have enabled a user which will be able to access my Tally data remotely. Now after that, what I need to do at the system side, main system, where the actual company resides, here I will press F4. One second. Okay, once I press the F4, the company will be connected with the Tally.NET server, TNS. After that, what I'll do, I'll open the Tally educational mode, or I will open the Tally in educational mode, and after that, we'll follow the procedure which I just told, that I'll click on login as remote user. I'll enter my login credential because I'm using the mail ID on which I purchased the license. So at the time of purchasing, it would have I would have got a mail. I would have got a mail from Tally company that so and so is your password. This and this is your password. So I'll enter that particular email ID and password. And if the company is connected at the server side or at the base location, I'll see the list of all companies which are connected, and I can select the company and access the data. And I can start acting I can start performing the actions as per my roles and responsibilities. Along with that, I can give the browser access also. So if you see, let me tell you one new thing. In release 6.6.3, Tally has given you the capability to give the browser access without enabling the security feature. Okay, so till 6.6.2, if I want to configure this browser feature, means I want to give the access to someone who can see the informations, or you can see the reports on browser. If I want to enable someone with this capability, then definitely I have to enable the security in my company. But in 6.6.3, we get an option where we can enable this browser access options without adding the security feature. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So let me disconnect this. And let's say I'm removing this security feature. I don't want this security feature to be in my company. I don't want to apply any password. So now you can see, if I open the Brompton Cycles Private Limited, it will not ask any password. So it means which establishes that I do not have any kind of security. I do not apply any security on my data. Now I want to give the browser access to someone, but I don't want to apply the security. So it is possible in 6.6.3. Okay, so I'll just click on connect. If you अगर आपको थोड़ा सा गौर किया हो, so this F4 option usually comes when you enable your security feature. But in 6.6.3, you will get this button enabled even if you have not enabled your security features. So you can click on here, click on this button. One second, because I have already configured it. One second. So let me, yes. So now it is in default state because I had configured earlier. So it was taking the configuration from there. So now my company is in default state. There is no security applied. There is no configuration for the remote access. I just wanted to give the browser access. Okay, so now I'll simply click on connect. Once you will click on connect, it will ask
Yes, there is some issue with the internet connectivity at the Deepak end. Please wait. We are looking into it.
yeah, I have rejoined. Am I audible?
Yes, Deepak, go ahead.
Okay. There was some internet issue. Okay, is the screen visible?
Yes, Deepak.
So now here I can give any mail ID. Okay, so let's say I can, my client can enter our email ID so that we will be able to see the reports on our mobile because it is accessed through browser. So it has no operating system dependencies, no other platform dependencies. You can access it on Mac because it is accessible through, we are accessing the report through browser. So let's say I'm entering the email ID on which I purchased the license. You can enter any email ID here. Okay, there's no problem. The main thing which I want to focus here is I have not enabled the security for my company. In earlier version, means before 6.6.3, you had to enable the security feature to use this browser access. But the limitation of this feature is you can enter only one mail ID here because it is designed for those users. Okay, so if you have multiple users to whom you want to give the mail access, let's say there are 5-6 person or there are 5-6 salesmen, and to each salesman you want to give the access, then definitely you have to enable the security feature. Okay, but if there is only one user to whom you want to give the access, then definitely you can give the access without enabling the security, because to enable one person to view the browser report, doing all these things to enable the security, then go and define the security level, then add the user, it is just like a cumbersome process. It looks like a cumbersome process because I want to add only one user. But this option was given for those users only. But if you have more than one user and you want to give the browser access or remote access to them, then definitely you have to enable the security feature. So I just entered. Okay, it will give you the message that you have successfully configured that ID to access to have the browser access. Okay, now if I go and open my account on Tally, okay, so I can see the Brompton Cycles Private Limited is connected. So that report I can open on mobile, I can open it on my laptop, I can open it on my Mac. By clicking here, I can see the reports also. Okay, so this was my portion, and I have completed this. So over to Arun sir.
Thank you, Deepak. So first, I would like to thanks to all the panelists for their expert knowledge imparting to our audience. So thank you everyone for participating in this event. So before ending this event, I have gone through most of the query which is asked during the session. So see, many of query is not answered because it requires more time to answer each of the query raised during the session. So, but we will ensure you will get the response on your mail ID which is registered. You will get the answer of each and every query which is asked by you. Also, many of you have requested for the video of this session. So good news is that definitely we'll share the link of the video where you can go through this session again. Also, we will share one feedback form where you can, because some of have asking for the different session on the other topic as well. So you can mention your preferred topics, your preferred session you want to Tally should organize in future also. So definitely request everyone to fill more detail in your feedback form. Thank you everyone for joining the session.